Angels in the Outfield, The Sandlot, Rookie of the Year. Each of these classic films follows the story of a young baseball player chasing his dream to lace up his spikes and wear the major league patch on his shoulder. For many, this dream is just a mere fairy tale, but sometimes, for the rare talents, this fictional story becomes a reality. Recently, our media team had the opportunity to visit the Bledsoe Agency to have a conversation with Minnesota Twins outfielder Brent Rooker, whose childhood dream, is safe to say, has come true. Well, hey Brent, thanks for sitting down.
Yeah, man, happy to do it.
Can you just tell me kind of how you fell in love with the game of baseball?
I mean, I started playing from a young age. My dad was a really big influence in kind of that part of my life. You know, he did a good job keeping things in perspective for me, never really pushing it, never really forcing me to do something I didn't want to do as far as athletically, but keeping things fun, keeping it light, and making sure that I had a good time. That's kind of what made me fall in love with it.
That's awesome, man. So you went to Mississippi State, to play. So can you kind of take me through the recruiting process and why you chose Mississippi State?
Kind of throughout high school, I wasn't super heavily recruited. I was kind of a guy who developed late, who didn't really get a lot of looks from big time schools until really late in my junior year. So Mississippi State kind of came along. I went on a visit there, and at the time they were by far the biggest, most prestigious program to give me any interest. So that was obviously a huge draw. And when you go down there to a game and you kind of see that atmosphere down there, the environment the fans create, the level of facilities, and kind of the history behind that program, it's a pretty easy sell for guys who want to play college baseball. So I went down and kind of fell in love immediately and was committed pretty early after they offered me a spot, and it was one of the better decisions I've made.
And while you were there, you won the Triple Crown. So can you kind of tell me what that accomplishment means and what it did for your career?
I get to school. I redshirt my first year because I'm not really good enough to compete at that level yet, and I kind of take that year to take a step back, look at what I need to work on, improve, work really hard, and kind of made some adjustments between that year and my last year. Learned a lot, worked really hard, kind of made some very conscious decisions about how I was going to approach hitting, the things that I was going to change and really work on. It paid off my last year, which was really cool to see, because obviously anytime you put a lot of work into something, you want to see those results and you want to see it pay off. And it's fun in the SEC, especially when you've been there for 2 or 3 years, is you're kind of friends with all those guys who you're competing with, so you can kind of text them back and forth, see how they're doing, keep up with their stat lines after the games, and it's a fun way to kind of go about a season. But like I said, you're trying to obviously keep that in the back of your mind and win games as a team first, but it's definitely always there.
And so now you've made it, to the professional level. Can you kind of tell me what it's like being a professional player compared to college?
It's everything you thought it would be at the major league level, but at the same time, it's a challenge because you got to go out there every day and compete and get better, and you're competing against the best in the world. So it can be tiring, it can be grueling, it can be mentally taxing on you. It's definitely way more mental than it is physical. You get to a point where you're in the physical conditioning you need to play. You're doing what you need to do in the weight room and the training room to stay healthy and make sure you're on the field. It's just that mental grind, knowing that if you go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, you got 4 or 5 more at bats the next night, no matter if you want them or not. And you got another pitcher trying to, one of the best pitchers in the world, trying to come at you and get you out 4 more times. You got to bounce back quickly. You got to have a short memory. You got to be able to put things behind you and move on, and continue to trust your process, do what you do. Maybe if you've got a dream, stick with it.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for sitting with me.
Yeah, happy to do it.